What's up YouTube, photographer Ronix from Ronnixphotography, and today we're going to be doing a retouching video, and this photo was taken by Pax's Concept Photography. He's a photographer based in South Africa, and this specific image was part of his retouching challenge, and this photo was taken using a Nikon D750, and the settings right here, it was taken at f1.8 at 1 out of 200th of a second at ISO 250, and it was taken using an 85mm lens, probably an 85 1.8, and this is the image you are going to start retouching. And as usual, for the raw images, we open our camera raw filter, which is in our Photoshop, and usually I'm using my camera raw 9.9 version, and usually I prefer to first of all pull down my highlights. Then I pull up my whites a little bit to 23, the blacks to around 35, and I pull up my shadows a little bit to around 21. Then I pump up my contrast to around 8, and my clarity to 7, and my vibrance to around 7. I'm sorry if I'm too fast, I just want this video to be a short one. And now I'm going to sharpen this image. I'm going to sharpen it, 63 will do, and I'm going to put the masking until I start to see the details in the image. So you can see that is fine. I've sharpened the image, and I'm going to open the image in Photoshop. So right now, this is the image. If you haven't subscribed, kindly hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on new videos every time we upload on this channel. So this is the image. I'm going to crop it in a ratio of 4:5 because this image usually covers the full screen on Instagram, and it is the default ratio, crop ratio for Instagram photos. So this is the image. I'm going to crop it. So right now I have cropped the image. Right now when I'm going to start retouching, and some brief information about the method I'm going to use both the mixer brush tool, and I'm going to use the lasso tool method of frequency separation. So I'm going to start by duplicating the background layer, Ctrl J on the keyboard to duplicate it, and I'm going to come right here in my action. I'm going to play my frequency separation action, and if you don't have the action, I made a video of how you can create your own frequency separation action so that you shorten your retouching process. So I'm going to play it, continue, and for the radius, I'm going to use the radius of around 11 for this image. As you can see, I'm going to continue, and I'm going to continue to, I'm going to select on my high frequency layer, and I'm going to come right down, and I'm going to create a black and white layer right on top of our high frequency. The reason that's why I do this is because I want something to guide us when we are doing our mixing using a mixer brush tool. And the trick is, when you're using a mixer brush tool, we kind of blend these uneven tones on the model's skin. We blend them, the midtones alone, the highlights alone, and the shadows alone. So make sure when you're mixing, you don't cross over from the highlights to the shadows, because you may end up distorting the shape of the model's face. So right now, click on your lower frequency, select your mixer brush tool. Usually it is under the brushes, just right click, you'll find it around here. And the settings for my mixer brush tool, I make sure it is a clean brush. This is unchecked. Custom brush, wetness at 9, the load is at 75, the mix at 90, and the flow at 100%. Make sure sample all layers is not checked. So make sure you're on your lower frequency layer. So when you're mixing, make sure you don't over zoom in, because you may we want how people are going to be looking at the image. So that's how we are going to be mixing it. Now we have some midtones right here. We're going to mix them. Then we have some kind of these midtones. As you see, I'm mixing the midtones alone and the highlights alone. So we have the shadows right here. What I'm doing, I'm kind of blending these uneven skin tones together so they can create a uniform pattern on the model's skin while I'm retaining the texture too. So right now we have some kind of shadows right here. I'm mixing them together. What I'm doing, I'm kind of blending. And this image, guys, was taken by Pax's Concept Photography, and he's based in South Africa. Hope I'm right about that. And yeah, I asked him out if I could use his image, and he was like, it's okay. So thank you, Pax's Concept. Right now I'm blending the skin tones together so I can show you guys the before and after for this image so far. So this is the before after. You can see how amazing it is looking while the texture is still there. So make sure you're still on your lower frequency. You're going to come and start blending this area too. So we have some mid-tones right here. I'm blending them together so that I can get some kind of even tones on the model's skin. I'm going to come right on the nose bridge, and I'm going to blend. You're seeing these dark tones on the nose of the model. Then I'm going to mix and blend these highlights on the nose. And now after using the Mr. Brush tool, we are going to apply another frequency separation method because we want to blend and get more texture on the model's face and blend it the more so that we get something really nice and perfect at the end of the day. So right now I'm going to come right to the cheek area and I'm going to blend that the more. I'm going to come right down to the chin area and I'm going to continue blending. Come to the chin, the lower chin. We have something dark here. We blend. We continue blending this. And on the upper lip, we have some dark tones right here. I'm blending them alone, as you can see, and this highlight I'm blending it alone too, so you can see how this is. Let me show you guys our progress so far for this particular image. So turn off the black and white. So this is the before after. It is really subtle, but it looks natural and amazing. So I'm going to come right down to the chest area of the model. Make sure you're on your lower frequency, and I'm going to blend these uneven skin tones together. So right now I'm blending, and if at all you're learning something and haven't subscribed to this channel, kindly hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on new videos. And when you subscribe, make sure you hit the notifications bell so that you be notified every time we upload a new video on this channel. So when you're mixing, make sure you mix the highlights alone, the shadows alone, and you don't totally over zoom in your image while you're doing the mixing of these skin tones. So right now we are blending the skin tones of this model together. So right now let me show you guys the before and the after. Before I do that, let me mix this particular area. Turn off my black and white. So this is the before after. You can see how the image looks before after. So before after. So right now we are going to apply the other frequency separation method, and we are going to use the lasso tool. I have deleted the black and white layer. As you can see, it was right above here. It was here and I had to delete it because right now it is useless to us. Make sure you're on your lower frequency. Come and select your lasso tool and zoom in a little bit. And right now we select according to the shape of the model. I don't know if I'm making any sense there, but we make a selection, right, according to how the particular area we want to apply the effect on. So the radius I'm using 30 pixels. Come to filter, blur, then Gaussian blur, and remember we used a radius of 11. So what I usually do, my trick right now is I multiply 11 times 3, and this is the result I put right now. I multiply 11 by 3, so I'm going to put 33. Yeah, this is fine. So I'm going to keep on selecting the various areas on the model skin while I apply. As you see, I'm selecting according to the shape. As you can see, I'm now selecting according to the shape. So come right down here, I select that, right click and click on Gaussian blur. Come to the nose area between the eyebrows, right click, apply the Gaussian blur. So come right here to the nose, right click, apply the Gaussian blur, and right here on the eyebrow, on the eyeshadow, sorry, right click, apply the effect, the Gaussian blur still. Then we have this little area here, right click, apply the Gaussian blur. I'm sorry, I'm not over zooming all the way in. Right click, apply the Gaussian blur. As you can see, we still have the texture in this image because we did everything right from the very beginning. And when you are using a mixer brush tool, we retain so much texture, and this method really looks natural enough. So I'm going to come right to the chest area and I'm going to select and apply the Gaussian blur. But since this area right here is too blurry, I'm going to reduce on the effect, Shift Ctrl F to fade, to reduce on the opacity, and I'm going to use 45 will do for this particular area. And thank you guys for sticking around. If at all you're still watching, that means you're learning something. Shift Ctrl F to fade, 56. Yeah, I think this is so good right now. And now I'm going to select on my higher frequency layer, and I'm going to start removing the blemishes on the model skin. And what this does, it is actually the game changer for this portrait, because with the blemishes the photo will not look professional enough. So I usually use my stamp, my clone stamp, and I select and I remove these little blemishes. So sample, click Alt to sample, then paint over the blemish you want to eliminate. Alt, sample, eliminate, like that. So right now I'm removing these little blemishes from the model skin. And yeah, you really have to be patient while doing this, because you want to get the best results at the end of the day, and you want to be different from photographers out there. So that's why you have to take time, invest the time while you're retouching these images. Yeah, and you'll see a difference. You see like you're different from other people out there, and your work really stands out because you invested enough time while you're trying to do your retouching. So right now we are removing these little blemishes from the model skin, as you can see. And right now we have some simple blemishes here. So if at all you have the time, you can do way more better than this. So the image looks amazing right now. I know the photographer did a great job, and the makeup artist too. So I'm right now doing my work as a retoucher of this particular image. So we are removing the blemishes right now. So we come to the chin area and we try to eliminate these simple blemishes from the model skin. We want the skin to look nice and flawless. So we remove these simple blemishes, and it is this that creates the difference from other photographers. And puts you out there to stand out from your work, really stands out at the end of the day. So make sure you don't rush while you're trying to do your retouching of these images. So as you can see, this is the before after. Let me zoom all the way in. Before after, before after. You can see how amazing this portrait looks right now, and we can do some more work on this particular area because we have some dark spots around here over the eyebrow. So we sample and paint, sample, alt, sample, click alt, sample, and paint over the area you want to do away with. So right now we have some simple blemishes that we are eliminating from this portrait. So right now we want to do a little bit of sharpening to this portrait. So while I'm on my higher frequency layer, I'm going to click Ctrl J to duplicate it. As you can see, the image is too sharp right now, and I'm going to reduce the opacity to around 18%. So right now the image is sharp enough. So I'm going to do a little bit of dodging and burning to this image before I can color grade it. So I'm going to use the curves, come right to adjustment layers, click curves, and this time brighten all the way up. Ctrl I, make sure white is selected, then click Ctrl I on the keyboard to invert. So this is the dodge. Then come right here and click on the curves. Then this time you're going to darken. I don't know if that is too much. Then make sure this is selected, click Ctrl I, then put this burn. So you're going to put this in a group, Ctrl G to put them in a group. And right now you're going to create a black and white layer on top of our burn layer, and you're going to put the reds down to darken. So we want something to guide us when you're doing our dodging and burning. So select your dodge layer and select your brush tool. Make sure the opacity is at around 12% and the flow at 100. Make sure white is on top. Then we're going to dodge and burn. Turn off your frequency separation layer and you start dodging. So when you are dodging, we dodge the highlights, and when we are burning, we burn the shadows of the image. So we have this, then we have this right here. We are now doing the dodging. Then click right here, then you're going to start burning. We burn on the nose area. As you can see, we burn there too. We burn. Then we had some contouring right here, we burn there too. So turn back the frequency separation layer and turn off the black and white layer. So this is the before after. You can see the difference dodging and burning brings to our image. So we are going to delete the black and white layer. Right now we are going to do the color grading of this particular image. So click right here and come on the black and white layer and come to the blending options, click on multiply. You can see the image right now, and right now we're going to reduce on the opacity of this image. So after this, just come right here on the selective color. I'm going to add some cyan to this image, and I'm going to pump up my yellows because I want the yellows in this image to pop a little bit more. So I think this is fine for the color grading. So I'm going to put this in a group, Ctrl G after selecting them, before, after. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to do the eye whitening because I want to eliminate the colors in the eyes and I want to whiten the eye a little bit more. We're going to create a stamp visible layer on top of our group 2. Shift Alt Ctrl E, Shift Alt Ctrl E on the keyboard to create it, Ctrl G and duplicate it. So we come to our filter, we come to our camera raw filter, and we're going to be using our adjustment brush in Photoshop. So zoom in the eye area you want to whiten. Click on your adjustment brush. Make sure the temperature is at -33, the tint is at 69, the highlight is at 8, the white is at 6, and make sure the saturation is all the way down to -85, and start painting over this white area of the eye. So continue painting over the white area of the eye. Yeah, paint over. Make sure you leave out the other areas in the eye because you don't want to make it artificial. You want to whiten this eye area. So we have this catch light right here. I'm going to enhance it. So right now I think we are done with the whitening of the model's eye. Click OK. What I'm going to do, I'm going to pump up the exposure, the brightness of this image. Come and brighten it up a little bit. I'm going to leave it at 12. So I'm going to put all this in a group. Shift and select the very first layer, frequency separation. Ctrl G so I can show you guys the before and the after. So this is the before, after, before, after, before, after. And guys, if you learned something from this video, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and don't forget to hit the like button if you learned something, and drop the comment in the comment section. And when you subscribe, don't forget to hit the notifications bell so that you don't miss out on new videos every time we upload on this channel. I'm Ronnix from Ronnix Photography. Till next time.